In a recent interview, the COO of OpenAI said that AI was overhyped for business. Is he correct? Was he misquoted? Let's dig in. Welcome back to the AI Breakdown. Today, we are discussing a theme which I've seen come up a little bit, and specifically in the context of recent statements from OpenAI COO Brad Lightcap. The gist of it was summed up in a Verge headline which read, OpenAI COO thinks AI for business is overhyped. AI can't transform your business overnight, he said. Now, of course, the denizens of X/Twitter, especially those who have held this type of opinion before, grabbed onto this statement and used it to confirm what they had been saying all along. See, for example, Gary Marcus, who said, "Nice to see I'm not the only one thinking AI is overhyped." So what I want to do today is use this as a jumping off point for a larger conversation. To do so, however, let's start with what Brad Lightcap actually said. The context for this was an interview with CNBC. And basically what Lightcap was saying is that the companies that were coming to OpenAI to explore enterprise AI solutions didn't always have an accurate or realistic sense of what AI could actually do for them. Writes The Verge, Lightcap said companies have approached OpenAI expecting generative AI to solve many problems, dramatically cut costs, and bring back growth if they're struggling. He said that while AI could improve more, quote, there's never one thing you can do with AI that solves that problem in full, and that the technology is still in its infancy. He added that AI is still in the experimental phase where it is yet to become part of critical tools and applications. So, this is actually slightly more nuanced, surprise, surprise, than the headline would make it seem. Lightcap isn't really actually saying that AI is overhyped, but that enterprise or business users of AI who don't really understand the technology yet have mistaken expectations of what it can actually do, or what it can do on its own, or what it can do without having to be integrated into workflows. This may seem like semantics, but I don't think it is. If the question is, are the AI tools that exist right now, all on their own, when dumped into a business context, without any real consideration, just going to solve all of the problems of business? The answer is obviously no. But no hype is actually claiming that that's true. What the hype is claiming is that these tools are going to have an absolutely transformative effect on a huge array of functions inside business, change processes in radical ways, lead to new efficiencies, lead to redundancies of skill sets, and ultimately represent a total phase shift in how businesses function. The answer to that question is, I believe, unequivocally yes. And frankly, the assumption that that would happen overnight or without real human intention, in other words, just passively, isn't really an opinion that I think a lot of people have. So let's move on from the question of overhyped or not, and actually get into how businesses and employees are thinking about what this change is going to look like. So let's look at some recent studies that get at attitudes around AI. One comes from edX back in October and was a survey of both CEOs and employees in America asking about their opinions on AI and how it would change the workforce. Now, the big banner headline that captured a lot of people's attention was that the CEOs who were surveyed estimated that 49% of the skills that exist in the workplace today will not be relevant within 2 years, by 2025. 47% said that their workforces were unprepared for the future workplace. So what does that change actually look like? Well, executives in that survey estimate that within the next 5 years, their organizations will eliminate 56% of entry-level knowledge worker roles, and 79% of executives predicted that entry-level knowledge worker jobs simply won't exist anymore. And just to be clear that this isn't just for low-level workers, those same executives also said that 56% of their own roles will be completely or partially replaced by AI. 47% of C-suite executives believed that most or all of the CEO role should be automated or replaced by AI, including 49% of CEOs agreeing with that as well. Overall, 92% of the executives felt that it was important to improve their AI skills within the next 1 to 2 years, and 79% of executives said that they fear that if they don't learn how to use AI, they will be unprepared for the future of work. Now, what about regular people? In another even more recent survey from Spokio, exactly 2/3, 66.6% of the workers surveyed, said that AI could carry out most of their workplace functions. Now, this is generating two very different types of responses in people as well. Just about 75% said that they were concerned about AI's impact on their industry overall, but 78.1% also said that they believed that AI could reduce some stress on the job. 76.7% said that they think that AI will eventually reduce the number of working days in the week for the average American. They also think that employers should be involved in reskilling their teams. 79.1% said that they think employers should offer training for ChatGPT and other tools like it. And so again, overall, you're getting a picture where professionals all the way up to the C-suite have this sense that AI is going to have dramatic impacts on what they do. Now, there are, of course, two possibilities. The first is that they're just responding to media headlines about this changing everything. It's not hard to find this sort of headline. For example, from November 16th in Fortune magazine, Altimeter CEO Brad Gerstner warns AI will cause, quote, the largest displacement of human labor in the history of capitalism. So are these responses that are showing up on surveys just artifacts or reaction to that sort of bombastic and scary headline? It's totally possible, and it's hard to think that that wouldn't have some impact overall on the sense of the magnitude of this disruption. I would argue, however, that these are likely not just people who are reading articles and responding in kind. I don't think it takes too many interactions with ChatGPT or Midjourney or any one of these other tools, which the first time you use them feel like literal, actual magic, to have a sense that how you work and probably what you work on are forever going to be shifted. Now, what that doesn't mean is that that's going to happen tomorrow. There are huge numbers of reasons why this change will be perhaps slower than we think, standing in the eye of the storm as we are. Some of those are the natural inertia of business and technology. Some of that is compliance, where it's likely that humans will be required to be involved in things for a lot longer than they might need to be, technically speaking. Whatever the case, in terms of the way that AI integrates into business, it's likely to take longer than the speed at which it changes from a technology capability perspective. It's also not going to happen passively. We're at a phase now where the way that AI is starting to impact business is not necessarily company-wide strategies or formally updated workflows and processes, but instead individual employees adopting these tools and using it to enhance their own productivity or increase their capabilities or expand the range of what they can do, and slowly bringing that into the broader company such that some of those best practices can become normalized and regularized. In other words, we're in a highly organic phase even as these big companies all scramble around in boardrooms and in conversations with people like OpenAI's Brad Lightcap, trying to figure out what their AI stack and AI solutions should look like. I think Professor Ethan Mollick had a really insightful tweet on this. On November 16th, he wrote, "We're going to go through a fairly extended period where work has changed dramatically for many people thanks to AI, but companies will not notice or acknowledge it. This is exactly what is happening in schools. AI broke homework. Most instructors haven't changed anything they do." I think this captures the essence of it. I don't think that you can interact with ChatGPT and then as any sort of knowledge worker think that it's not going to impact what you do and how you do it. But there will be a period of time where the counterpoint is that it doesn't feel like all that much has changed. So when it comes back to this question of whether AI for business is overhyped, my answer very clearly is that no, it is not. It's just that one, we don't have the precise timescales, and two, businesses are still going to have to be actively involved in their own disruption. AI won't just happen to them. People inside companies will bring it in, start to figure out how to integrate it in ways that actually drive value, be that efficiency gains or productivity gains or actual real bottom line value. Or alternatively, upstart competitors who are using that technology will come in and challenge the incumbents in ways that forces them to change or go away. It's going to be a big, long, messy process of creative disruption, but like it or not, it's happening. Anyways, guys, that will do it for today's AI Breakdown. Appreciate you listening or watching as always. Until next time, peace.